Okay, so we're heading off to the subcontinent today, although to be honest this is styled more like a British curry house curry. It's based around a thick, decadent and richly spiced onion, garlic, ginger and tomato sauce, what they call bucket or batch cooking in these restaurants. There's a lot of oil in this recipe, just like in a British restaurant, which you can of course reduce if your body is a temple or such like. The koftas, found in Indian and Bangladeshi restaurants, are originally from the Middle East, and they're essentially meatballs. Now, our meat is of course vegetables, and these are potatoes, carrots, peas, onions and jackfruit for texture. Although if you're not keen on jackfruit or just can't get hold of it, just replace with an equal weight or more of potatoes and carrots. So chop your potatoes and carrots roughly. They will be mashed later, and set them to boil in salted water with a teaspoon of turmeric just to add some colour to the mix. So dice 350 grams of onions as shown. The technique is to halve the onion and take off the skin, but leave the root, the hairy bit at the back, and then to slice vertically as shown, and then to slice from front to back, pointing the knife downwards a little for safety, and then finally slice vertically like so. So these onions should be cooked until translucent in about 80 grams of sunflower oil or vegetable ghee, just to add a little taste of authenticity. Try to avoid using butter ghee or plant-based. Add 2 teaspoons of salt, a teaspoon of ginger powder and 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. Transfer some stock from the boiling potatoes and carrots into the onions until the stock is about 1 centimetre above the onions. And then you should be letting these bubble away, reduce and soften with the lid off on a very low heat until you have a thick, colourful onion sauce. So now it's time to drain your potatoes and onions and to set these aside to cool a little. Next is to create your masala mix. So take a mix of 4 grams of cumin seeds, 3 grams of coriander seeds, 2 grams of fennel, 1 gram of curry leaves if you can get them, and dry roast them in a hot frying pan. Don't let them burn, they'll be very bitter. Once you can smell the aroma coming off the spices, they're probably ready. Off the heat, straight into a pestle and mortar and grind down into a fine powder. So next is to roughly mash your potatoes and carrots and then add the spice mixture. So dice another half a brown onion, about 150 grams, and 30 grams of spring onions, along with 2 cloves of garlic. Fry the brown onion with the garlic in 2 teaspoons of oil until they start to brown. Leave the chopped spring onions raw, they will cook in the kofta, but add some crunchy texture. And then chop 250 grams of the jackfruit. Make sure this is plain jackfruit and not flavoured, and ideally canned or bottled. And then fry these off in a tablespoon of oil until they start to brown. So now's the time to add your fried onions, your garlic and your jackfruit. Add 100 grams of frozen peas to the vegetables mix and then mix it well. Then push it up the sides of the bowl, pop into a freezer for 10 to 15 minutes to quickly cool the mixture down. It should be cool enough to the touch before you start adding the flours, and pushing the sides up help to cook it quickly. So add 180 grams of rice flour and 100 grams of chickpea flour. And this is, by the way, a gluten-free recipe, just by accident. And mix and form them into a bowl, adding a little chickpea flour until it's almost not sticky. It'll always be a little sticky. Half fill a frying pan with oil around 130 to 140 degrees to shallow fry. And form the kofta balls by wetting your fingers and hands first and carefully rolling them in your hands. And drop them into the oil, again carefully, and keep them moving. You don't cook too many at one time, 6 to 8 depending on the size of your pan. Or they'll drop in the temperature of the oil. Prick them a little to cook them a bit more on the inside. And once they're golden brown, you can go ahead and pop them on greaseproof paper in a tray, pop them in the oven at around 200 Celsius for 15 minutes. So wash the basmati rice in cold water till it goes clear, and then pop it into already boiling salted water with a touch of turmeric for colour. So back to your onion sauce, and first to about half a cup of oil add 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds and a handful of curry leaves. Once the seeds are spitting, add carefully the reduced onion sauce, 2 to 4 teaspoons of chili powder, 3 to 6 teaspoons of a good Madras curry powder. And then you should fold in 280 grams of tomato passata. Finish off with half a cup of lemon juice and a dessert spoon of granulated sugar and mix well into a lovely decadent sauce. So add the koftas to the sauce just before serving. If your guests like coriander leaves, chop up a little to dress the curry and serve this on the bed of rice. There you go, a taste of Madras in Little Britain. Not something you would find gracing the homes of many Indian families, but popular in the UK. Enjoy!